Everybody all set down there?
Yes.
Guys all set, Ange?
Yeah.
Don?
That's the rule,
Don?
and she can do up to 500.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:30. Roll call, please.
Blackstock.
Here.
Blair.
Here.
Horn. Here. Pat Salas.
Here.
Oda.
Here.
Town. Here. Simons.
Here. All present and accounted for. Kathy, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have the approval of the agenda as presented. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I'd like to make mention on one thing. On the agenda, we are missing, under approved minutes from, it says June 4th, 2018, and it should be June 18th, 2018 for
Oh,
approved minutes.
June 18?
Yep. And down between consent agenda and new business, we are missing the disbursements.
There are none. We'll explain that. That'll be explained to you.
And also on the June 18th minutes, for people that were present, they don't have Mr. Patsalos down there. He's missing out of the, they have Clerk Town, Treasurer Boda, and Trustees Blackstock and Blair, and they don't have Patsalos.
You forgot me again, huh?
You're correct.
Out to the hidden lands.
Okay, we'll get that corrected. So other than that, it's fine.
Otherwise, I'll make a motion. If there's nothing further, I'll make a motion. We accept the agenda.
As
Presented, yeah.
modified.
No, we're just approving the agenda right now.
Oh, this agenda. Okay. Excuse me.
He jumped a little bit ahead to the
I
minutes.
did. I'm
I'll
moving.
support that.
All right, it's been moved and supported that we approve the agenda as presented. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on to the approval of the minutes of June 18, 2018. And that's what Mr. Boda said. We have a correction on the first line on the attendance of Mr. Pasalis.
If there are no additions or deletions, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 18th with the modifications as presented,
June 18th.
June 18th.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of June 18 with the correction. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're moving on to public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about anything that's not on the agenda?
Good evening, folks. My name's Robert Blerick. I live on Bell River Road, and I have a water problem in my backyard. As today being July, I have 4 inches of standing water in my yard because of a new house being built. We need to find out how we can clear that ditch, clean it up somehow so that all the lots that are right in that way running east and west won't have any more water back there. Is there any way we can
He's
solve some
talking
of that?
about the bike trail, the ditch on the east side of the bike trail, correct?
Yes.
Robert?
And what street is this? What street is this?
Bell River
River.
Road. They
Yeah.
built 2 new houses there.
Yeah, there's 2 new houses within the last couple of years, and I'm trapped between the 2 of them. And now that the inspector allowed a swale to go to the back of the ditch, the new house, it runs to the back, but now it just sails down to my house and comes in because one of my neighbors cut a ditch back there to try to drain his yard. So it backs up, and the ditches, I've been here for 20 years, and I've never seen nobody back there clean a ditch other than a lawnmower right alongside the path of it for 5 feet.
And we haven't done anything
know,
on the bike trail ditches
right, so it
since
needs-
we've owned them.
We need to do something here because I'd like to use my yard.
Did that, hey Larry,
Oh.
did that flow before the two new houses?
He's
No.
saying no, it
It
didn't.
would come in early spring because of the snow
Okay.
and the ice. We actually had water sit back there, but by your first cutting, you could go back there and cut the grass.
But it would drain slowly.
Yeah, it would drain off and you could cut it.
But now the drainage is worse since the new.
It's
two new
not
houses.
going anywhere. It's just worse.
It's going into his yard and his neighbors.
Yeah, since the two new houses.
Now, you're two houses away from the new house, correct?
Yes, I am.
Is the house next to you, the old Breton house, is that flooding out also?
Yes.
That is
He would
awesome.
be here today, but his father passed away yesterday, or he would have been here the same thing.
Okay. How about the other one to the?
Yes, Mike's on the other side. I went in his backyard while I was walking around with boots in mine, and same thing.
So all
And
three
it's
of
gonna
you.
be, any elbows is probably the same,
Okay.
because the two houses are high, and then we're kinda trapped below it.
Yep.
And if you're sending everything to them, well, we're stuck in the middle and it's overflowing.
Right.
I
just
drove
got-
back there last Saturday when we were having that heavy rain, and I followed the muddy water coming from the two new houses, because our building inspector told me the water went north behind your house.
No, it doesn't.
No.
go north.
I don't
No,
think it
doesn't
goes
go
north, I think
No.
it goes south.
Goes south.
So I went there and looked when it was pouring down rain, and the muddy water was going to the south. But when it's going south, it hits your backyard and the old Brennan
The
house?
old Breton house.
Brennan
Right,
house,
actually, Mr. Brennan was the one that cut the ditch in.
right.
And by doing that, he drained his yard, but now that there's too much water, it just rose up in there. And when I had somebody come out there, they said, well, he cut that. I said, yeah, I know, but that's still township property. You're not allowed to cut it.
They cut a ditch with a shovel, say about that wide.
Yeah, about a 3-foot ditch by 30 feet long.
I don't think that would be I mean, I think it's part of the problem, but I don't think even if we fill that ditch in, that would still help. I still think.
Well, no, the
there's
ditches
other
are
issues
overfull
there.
now, but I'm saying that's a lot of the problem.
Right.
Because the water sits 2 inches in the ditch, it's already walking into our yard.
Coming back.
And
So it
that,
wouldn't do no good
and
to
that
fill
ditch
that
is so full of poplar trees.
Poplars, right down the middle of it, scrap, broken branches, I mean, it's filled. It's not even a ditch anymore with all the overgrowth on it.
What you're saying is you need maintenance.
Oh, we need maintenance, yes, sir.
How was his grade? I mean,
What's that?
did they inspect his grade when they built those houses? Did they go through and inspect the
Well,
grade?
according to the building inspector, he had him cut a swale, and I was at that house after the rain too, and you could see there is a swale there, and there was water in the swale. The swale went all the way to the back to the bike trail ditch. It was all the same level.
And then by watching it, I went there the same rainy day, because there's no sod or anything on the new house, you can see the murky water, and you can walk all the way down to where I live, and there's murky water.
It's all
The
muddy
sand's
water.
washing right down.
So I got Mike Zobelitz from from the county. He's supposed to have looked at it Friday.
Okay,
I haven't talked to him since then, but I'm gonna get with him and have him give me what his recommendation is. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be a big expense if we have to clean that ditch, but
well, something
we gotta
has
do
to
what we
be
gotta do,
done.
you know?
You know,
I don't know where else the water could go. It can't go to the front. It's too big,
No,
too
But-
long.
the ditch is blocked. It doesn't run all the way down to his house, even though you
Right,
think it
right, yeah,
does.
we talked
It's
about that.
blocked, so maybe cutting that might send the water somewhere. That ditch runs for, I
Well,
don't
that's
know,
what our building inspector said.
30
that
miles. I
blockage
should
is
take up a
what's-
lot of water in 30
that-
miles.
Right next to the bike trail, just off of, what is that, Bell River,
Woods.
is that what it's
Bill
called?
Road subdivision, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there at the subdivision.
It's just south of the road, there's a blockage there, but Robert said that's been there for years and years and years, so.
It has been.
There's also quite a bit more dirt that's still going in there.
I seen that, yeah,
There's a couple of train loads on his front yard that he's still gonna be putting
Right.
more dirt in, so.
right.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
You spell me your name.
BLAREK.
Your first?
Robert.
So at this point, Larry, are we just waiting to hear back from the county
Well,
then,
that's,
to see what they have to say, or?
Yeah, and then we're
Your
gonna,
address too, please.
Pardon, 2613 Bell River Road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if we have to get the engineers out there to look at it. I mean, I mainly went there because I didn't think the water flowed to the north. That's what I went to look at. And then when I seen all that muddy water, I mean, you could just follow it to the south.
Does that go all the way to Putty Gut?
What's that?
Does that go all the way down to?
No, no, this is,
sorry, not Putty
It
Gut.
went down about
Springborn.
3 houses.
no, it doesn't go all the way to Springborn. It goes down probably about
But
four
across from
or
the
five houses
Conservation
past
Club?
him. I don't think it even goes all the way to the Conservation Club, does it? I don't think it goes that far, does it?
Actually, I think it goes down a little bit past that, then it turns and goes across, there's a swell that it runs in between a couple houses down there where it comes back down. It goes the river.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because Elbows is past the Conservation Club.
He's north of the conservation.
Yes, yes.
I think there's a ditch there, right, someplace by the driveway going into the Conservation Club. Is that about where it's at, Robert?
Well, the one on the other side of the road, they dug it deeper and they sent it right down the driveway of the conservation office.
Well, we cleaned that out. We got that's not our ditch, but we got permission to clean that because it was 3 years ago, we cleaned it on the north side of the road because in the wintertime, it was flooding over the road and freezing. That's why we cleaned that, and then we cleaned the other way, last year.
Yep.
So now, I mean, we know we have a problem there with the drainage, but that's why we cleaned the conservation, because that's the deepest part there, but we didn't want to go, and they didn't want us to cut all those trees down in the conservation.
You live on the same side as I
Excuse
do.
me.
Same side as I do.
Yes.
The,
Yeah.
I've heard that the ditch is near the bike path. But the conservation club's on the other side. of the
Yeah,
road.
you're right, right. We're just talking about the distance, how far down, but no, he's not.
You're just talking about the north side.
Yes, right,
Oh,
right.
Well, thank you, and more to come. I mean, we have to get them involved. We'll have to get them.
We can solve something here.
Yes. But I mean, like you said, it's an easy fix. Maybe we can just clean the ditch out with a backhoe or something. I don't know.
honestly think that if you got in and you cleaned it, and we took a little bit, we're scraping the dirt and we fill the hole back up, I think that's gonna solve, because I expect to have water. I don't think I'm gonna have a dry yard. Why should I have a dry yard when everybody else is wet?
Right.
Spring and fall comes, we get what we get, but I can't be drowned out.
Not this time of the year.
No, it's too late in the year for this.
Right, right.
So I'll get maybe 30 days dryness in my backyard, and then fall's coming, we're gonna get rain, I'm back to being soaked.
Right.
And my yard is, I'm not sure how to say the word, but you can smell the rot from the grass.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mildew.
Deterioration,
Mildew?
it's getting in there where my land's got some holes, there's pockets of water that sit there, I mean, I can smell it.
Mildew smells like dog poop.
What's that?
Mildew smells like dog poop.
Yeah,
It's not a pleasant smell. It's
Well, we're
far
still
enough
looking-
back where it doesn't bother with the windows open, but, they could get to that.
all right. But we're still looking into it, so we haven't forgot yet. Who wants to go next? Ken?
To help Greg out, my name is Ken Nickel. I live in Yale, Michigan, northern part of St. Clair County, and I'm getting around to introduce myself to each of the townships, municipalities, school boards, things like that. I'm running for the 81st District State Representative, and in the Republican ticket, and it's a very crowded field, in case you haven't noticed. There are 8 members in that field, and so I'm trying to distinguish myself from the pack, so to speak. And I think I do that a couple ways. I've lived in St. Clair County for 26 years. I've been able to raise a family up in Lynn Township. 3 boys, very excited about that, and a loving wife, of course, that goes hand in hand. I'm a member of the Sacred Heart Yale Knights of Columbus, 3rd degree from 8710. And we're very active in our community, and so for me, giving back is something not new. In my day job, if you will, I'm the furthest from a politician that you could imagine. Although I've been in the public eye, I'm the superintendent of Yale Public Schools. I run an $18 million budget. I do it in a collaborative fashion. I work well with others. And it's hard for me to say sometimes, but I am the longest tenured superintendent in St. Clair County. So if you go from Marysville, East China, Algonac, Capac, Port Huron, Yale, and Memphis, which is partly in St. Clair County. I'm the guy that's been sitting there the longest. I've been there for 8 years. And in superintendent world, that's about triple the life expectancy of a superintendent. So I hope I'm demonstrating I'm doing something correct. Not only are we fiscally responsible, I've run a balanced budget 3 consecutive years, and I anticipate running a balanced budget next year as well, and with a fund equity of about 15%, which I'm very proud of. And again, I don't do that alone. I surround myself with very good people. I have great leadership with my Board of Education, who is certainly willing to work with me. I've been in Yale for 19 years in the district and have had a myriad of jobs. Like I said, I've been in the seat of superintendent for 8 years. I know a lot of folks talk about what they're going to do and what their platform is, and I don't go into great detail, but I'd be more than happy to answer anything down the road for folks. But simply put, you know, we know that our infrastructure is crumbling, and part of what you described today is certainly that. It's an infrastructure, whether it's the roads or ditching or bridges and things like that. But one component that a lot of folks neglect, they forget that people are really infrastructure as well. The gentleman sitting right next to me tonight is part of the infrastructure of police, fire, and EMT. That's important that we maintain and keep that so that they can indeed do their job of serving and protecting us. This area is certainly concerned about their natural resources. You guys, and I'm up in Yale, and I live on a 89-acre parcel of land, and so whether it's land or water, you know, I want to preserve that for my children as well, and so I know that that's a component that is important to you. Government, in my mind, is supposed to be there to help us and to guide us, but not to control us. I think that's what you're here for. You guys are elected from your area constituency, and local control means a lot. You should be the ones in the seat of authority to determine what's best for your community, and I firmly believe in that. And so if I'm blessed to go to Lansing, I hope I'll take that message. Without a doubt, I'm very proud of a couple endorsements, and I'll just give you them briefly. I'm the only candidate in the field of 8 that has the Right to Life of Michigan endorsement, so they have solely endorsed me. And additionally, Sheriff Tim Donnellan has selected me as the only candidate that he's going to endorse as well throughout this primary. So very, very proud of both of those. I won't bog your meeting down because I've looked at your minutes and you guys run a very efficient meeting, and I don't want to be that guy. But I will tell you this, I don't make promises because I think that's asking an awful lot if I'm predicting the future, other than this one promise. I will work very, very hard, and I'm used to it. I represent 156 square miles of the northwest part of the county, which is about 20% of the St. Clair County from a geographical standpoint. And so for me to reach out and to do what I think is best to make this place a better place to raise a family and to continue to do so, I think I'm very qualified. So I thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening, and any time that you'd like, you can answer or ask questions, and I will reach out with Larry. I had the opportunity to attend the Township Association meeting and had an opportunity to have a very casual and candid conversation, and I'll continue to do that, because the part of state representative that people don't, I think, get sometimes is, how can you represent somebody if you don't reach out to them? And that's what I've been trying to do. And I've got 3 more stops. Of the 28 townships, municipalities, villages, and school districts, I have 3 more to go. So I'm trying to do the right thing. So thanks for having me tonight.
Thanks, Ken. Good luck
Thank
to
you.
Thank you.
Okay, Corinne, did you want to? Ken Nichols.
Corinne Garwood, bookkeeper here at the township. I hope Greg knows how to spell my name.
I should.
Okay. I don't really have anything prepared. There's been some things that have been keeping me away after hours that I wanted to make it here, but just haven't been able to. But I kind of wanted to open, or at least extend some sort of open communication between the situation we have with the staffing in the office and with the board, kind of where we're sitting. or where you expect us to be at or where we're going moving forward. We're kind of in a really bad situation at the moment. As you can see, there's no disbursements on the agenda. There has been no time to get to those. At this moment, we have a really excellent part-timer who really wants to do the work, but she's very green, she's new. I've been taking care of everything behind the scenes while Cindy Doctor has been working up front. So I didn't know if you guys have any questions, maybe about what is getting done, what is not getting done. We invite you to come in. Maybe we can show you a little bit more than explain. Sometimes it's hard to explain what we do. But I didn't know if you had any concerns, because we're very concerned in there right now, because we are bleeding big time. The best way I can explain it is just that everything is piling up. Everything topical is getting done, but it's just piling. And it's kind of like we're in it right now. So moving forward, regardless if we get fully staffed, we're losing another employee on August 3rd, and we're just going to fall backwards again. But there's so much that's not getting done. And I didn't know if you guys had any concerns with that, or if we should just keep operating the way that we are at the moment.
I think it's just a public comment at this time.
Okay.
We'll take what you have to say, but it's your public comment, it's your time
Okay.
to do it.
I just thought maybe you'd have some questions. You were asking these gentlemen some questions, so I'm here and I'm available. I'm just trying to extend some sort of communication to let you know where we sit. So,
And that's the reason we don't have the bills paid.
Right. I think this board is aware of what's going on, and we are working diligently to take care of that problem.
Okay. It's
And
not
we're
to be-
working at it at the board level, and we communicate between the board,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll come back, but we're aware of the situation.
okay. It just would be nice to have some information to us inside the office, just as somebody doing that work in there, along with Sandy Doctor and Pamela. Some really open communication and just letting you know who has what and what's going on so things don't get lost in the shuffle. It's not to come here and interrogate what is going to happen moving forward. This is really just trying to create a communication between the board and the staff. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
Before you run off, I just wanted to say thank you for coming. I think it's great that we do have a communication, and you guys are picking up slack from the lack of, the fully manned position. So thank you. And
I appreciate
we
that.
are trying
Okay.
hard to
I thank you.
take care of
Thank
that
you,
for
Fran.
you.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We have the C1, is the June 6, 2017 Beautification Committee minutes. And we have the C2, the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department Quarterly Report. So, Officer, would you like to go to the podium?
George Maskey with the Sheriff's Department. I haven't been here before, but I fill in from time to time at the township meetings when Captain King or Under Sheriff Buckley or one of the township deputies can't be here, so I came down today. It's my understanding that everybody already has a copy of this quarterly report.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, comments there, or anything?
Gotta find it. There's a couple that jumped out at me.
For me, spell your last name, please. It's M as in Mary, Aschke.
Pronounce it again.
Maskey. Yep.
The B and Es have jumped up quite a bit in that second quarter. Would that be attributed just to,
That's normal in the summertime, actually.
Okay.
We joke about it. It's not a joke, but we call it B and E season, actually.
okay.
Yeah,
Summertime,
that was
people are
one.
away a lot. They're
People
gone on
out.
weekends a lot. People notice your
When the
campers
weather
gone.
gets nasty, must be tripping off some of these alarms to get heavy storms or heavy
Yeah.
rains, yeah.
Yep, we get a lot of alarms when you get the high winds. That's common. Power outages, surges. But yeah, B and E's too, there's quite an uptick in the summertime. And that's normal throughout the county. It's just because people are working longer hours and they're away on weekends, and that's the good people that are doing that are also the good victims. So those are the unfortunate people that get victimized when they do work hard and go away on the weekend camping or whatever they like to spend their time doing.
I had some conversation with a few different people about the question about our time of service, like 10 to 10. Could you guys maybe study that and see if that's still our optimum time that we should
Yeah.
be patrolling?
Yep, see if that's the best
I don't-
hours.
Just so I can answer the question to these people, it was asked to me, somebody said, well, maybe we should have them on when the kids are going to school in the morning. But yet they're coming home at night, so I mean, it's,
Yeah, I remember
I don't
years
know.
ago it was 5 to 5, but I think that might have
The
been
what?
too early. It was 5 AM to 5 PM was when I first started for St. Clair County, that was the time
Oh.
frame they used. And then, at some point, I can't tell you how long ago, but it was quite a while ago, it changed to 10 to 10,
but it seems like we have more problems, like, as you can see with the B&Es and all that, I'm sure those are done in the afternoon or at night, not
Yeah,
during.
typical, actually, the time frame they're working now actually covers that real well. It's usually late morning, early afternoon, mid-afternoon. Most people think B&Es happen at night,
Yeah.
while you're home sleeping, but a lot of times it's not. It's during the daytime while you're working, or,
But if you guys could just take a look at it and give me a
Yep,
call back,
absolutely.
have Buckley or Donley or somebody call me, or you, or whoever, I don't care.
yep, we'll get somebody to.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for?
Do you see anything on here that's jumping out at you that we should be concerned about, or that?
No, I
concerns
don't
you?
actually. Everything kind of looks normal. I see May was quite busy. Usually June follows suit with that and even gets busier. It looks like it's not. June's been a little bit slower than May for whatever reason. I'd like to think it's because we're proactive, and maybe it's because we're out here and they see us quite a bit. Maybe they've kind of calmed down and moved on to different areas. I'd like to think that anyways. But it is kind of a surprise that June has overall slowed down for certain things that normally would, as expected throughout the winter things, some things slow down and then spring. But May was hotter than June, and weather has a lot to do with it too. I wouldn't be surprised to see if the July really,
July goes up a little.
yeah, is probably double what June is on most things at least. And that's just normal summer
I
stuff.
think you guys do a tremendous job, and
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Appreciate it, thank you.
We got good officers. Yeah, they do a good job, and they're coming in here talking. I think Corinne sees them in here.
Good.
We've asked them to come in, and they come in quite a bit, so that's
And
what
we
we
got
want.
Larry Fajardo, everybody's familiar with Larry, he's filling in quite a bit too when guys are on vacation, he's coming down. Larry used to work the townships, East China, so he should be familiar with everybody here too.
Right. Anybody else have any questions for him? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys don't have to stay if you don't want to stay. It's up to you. I know you got more places to go, but you're welcome to stay. All right, moving on, do we need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Herb made it, and
I'll support.
vote is seconded. Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda?
Who supported that? Don Boda.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business, we have the resignation of Joanne Cottrell from the Planning Commission effective June 21, 2018.
I'll make a motion, we accept Joanne's resignation with regrets from the Planning Commission, effective June 21st, 2018.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept Joanne Cottrell's resignation with regrets, effective June 21st, 2018. Is there any further discussion?
Maybe the township gonna send her a letter
Ken, yeah?
thanking her for her time.
And I'd like to say that Joanne's been on several committees and has done a great job. She's still on some, so she'll be missed on the Planning Commission. I'm sure you were on it, Herb.
Yes, you will.
So, okay, we have a motion, we have a second. No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the resignation of George Barner from the Planning Commission effective June 30th, 2018.
I'll make a motion, we accept with regrets George's resignation on June 30th, 2018.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept George Barner's from the Planning Commission. Is there any further discussion? I'd just like to say George has been on it for quite a while too, I believe, hasn't he, on the Planning Commission?
2 of his terms.
And I don't know if he's moving is the reason he's getting off, I think.
I'm not sure, we haven't met.
Yeah, I
in a
think
few
that's what I
months.
heard. So,
Are we gonna have enough members to have a planning commission?
What's that?
We're gonna have enough members to have a planning commission?
We still have a quorum, but we'll need to fill those vacancies.
yeah. Well, let's finish this and then we'll talk about the, so no further discussion on George. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Send
Motion
him a-
carries.
Send him a letter of thanks.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Yeah, anybody out there that would like to get involved with the planning commission or any of our commission, there's openings on a lot of our boards. Seems we're having trouble getting a lot of people, so. It's kind of a thankless job, but it's interesting. You volunteer?
The park commission has a couple openings.
Oh, I thought you were volunteering for the planning commission. Watch when you raise your hand.
No thanks.
Yeah, the park commission, we have, what, 2 openings? 2 openings on the park commission, too. That's a very interesting job, getting that work done. All right, moving on to new business 3, the 2018 request for millage distribution from St. Clair County Parks and Rec. You have anything to say on that?
That's our, millage money, our share of the millage money, it's $16,200 something.
16,000?
It's
Yeah.
something like that. And
I don't have, well, it's on the paper.
We discussed it at the park meeting a few weeks ago, and we have some things that we plan to purchase or do with that money. We don't always do that, we always turn in something that says what our plans are, and if that changes, then we notify, the county, but, we wanna do some universal play equipment and possibly some cornhole, games, the cement ones that would go on the shuffleboard course.
Did you go up to the thing? I got a question.
Oh, great.
I gotta hear about this when I get home.
Somebody asked me what they're doing in the dog park. What did they build, a ramp there, or? for-
We had an Eagle Scout who wanted to do a project in the township, and we talked about a couple benches up in Manor Park, and the scout himself asked about the dog park, because we wanted to do an activity in the dog park for the dogs, and they came in a week ago. He's done a lot of planning. When they do their Eagle Scout, there's all kinds of paperwork. They have to go through their council, they have to go through their troop that they're in, and the young man's name is Nicholas Redinger, and he and his troop and his father worked on it, and a week ago Saturday, they put the posts in, and then this Saturday, they did the rest of it, put it all together. And the park commission did pay out of that millage money $900 towards the wood, but it wasn't that expensive. That's what we said up to. I think Deanna said today it was around $600, $550, something like that, and then all the labor was free. And then he put a plaque on it saying it was done as a Boy Scout Eagle project. And Shipping Channel Fence went in a week ago Saturday and dug all the post holes, and he donated his time to do that. So just so everybody knows that he put in a little effort too, and does some things for us also in the park.
How about the
So-
city, how about the rec program too? Is that full, or?
I talked to Jennifer on Thursday, and the director of the rec program, and we had 73 children signed up. And they went to the movies last Thursday. I'm not sure what the trip is this week. They are going to the DNR Adventure Center down in Detroit, and that's been something we've discussed for 2 or 3 years, and apparently it's really worthwhile. They do some classes for the kids. They sign up for which classes, and then they stagger the kids. They all get to do the classes, but not at the same time. And then they can go all through it and see everything. And I asked Deanna, I talked to Deanna tonight, I asked her how it was going. She said it seems to be going fine. Jennifer's, this is like her, do you think 4th year?
I think it's about a fourth year.
She's been the director. And so we have some other trips planned, Sawmill City, and we try to do the last day of rec if there's kids that can't afford to go on some of the trips, and she does a party in the park. She does, like a bounce house and, the Kona ice cream, or snow cones, different things, so that the kids have something to celebrate the last day. So that's going really well. We're lucky to have Jennifer too, and I know it's been a lot with the girls in the office too, with people signing up for trips and signing up for rec. But anybody else have any other questions about things going on in the park?
So you're looking for me to sign this?
Yes, sir.
Need a motion?
Yeah, we'll need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we issue the request for the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation 2018 request for local millage distribution.
I'll support that.
Also,
Kathy already beat you. All right, we have a motion and a support to approve the millage request of the St. Clair County Parks and Rec. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Guess we'll do roll call.
Blackstock,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Horn,
yes.
Pat Salas.
Yes.
Boda,
Yes.
Town, yes, Simons.
Yes, motion carries. We'll sign your slip. Are you mailing it in, or do we have to? Okay,
So we need it signed.
okay.
A draft copy of the minutes from tonight as soon as possible, if possible.
Okay. All right, next we have item 4 under new business, $3,096, the annual cross-connection control contract extension. This is something we do every year. This is for our, mostly our commercial customers, that we don't have a cross-connection with the factory or whatever. We hire that out with this company. It's $3,000. Is there any questions on that, or? If not, a motion to approve the annual cross-connection.
I'll make a motion that we pay $3,096 to the annual cross-connection control contract extension.
I'll support.
We have a motion and a support on the cross-connection. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Blair,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Pat Salas,
Yes.
Boda,
Yes.
Town, yes, Simons.
Yes, motion carries.
Didn't I say Blackstock?
Motion still carries. Thank you, Herb. Next, under new business, I put this on here to discuss the water and sewer rates. We kind of tabled that until June, till we seen where our report came in. We've got the report in now. I mean, we're still good in our water department, but we're not satisfying the part of the asset management that we're being deemed by the state to have put in place. We paid our people to do the water part of it. We paid PCE to do the sewer side of it, and I still haven't got the actual breaking it down by the 1,000 gallons like I do for the water, but that supposedly is coming. Does the board feel we should start having dialogue on this? I mean, we haven't done anything on the rates probably since 15, I think, about 3 years.
Yeah, that's been soon, hasn't it?
I think the rates should be raised incrementally each year. Let's not dump the big increase on the residents.
Well, and I think we've always done that.
That's how it's always been done. in
We've
the
always
past.
done,
It's always been
25 cents or
Correct.
20 cents or,
Well, this is 3 years later, and we should do something.
And again, our water rates, we were good until this asset management came up. I mean, you take out the asset management, we're fine. The asset management came in, last year?
right.
So again, we have to address that situation, but I thought we've done an excellent job on maintaining our water rates, keeping them where we should have been keeping them. But we do have to raise them incrementally, and I do agree with Greg that you don't want to hit them with $1 at a time.
No.
So I mean, if we go a quarter or 50 cents, or, I thought Scott said he was gonna get back with us and let us, when he talked with us last week, he said he was gonna let us know what he would recommend to do.
Well, see, then that's the other thing, for all these years, we've went to our accountants to do that. The accountants, they take the money in, the money out. They don't look at the assets of the plant, the lines, the lift stations. Like right now, what would you say, Krim? We probably close to $200,000 on Point Drive in bills that we've accumulated there. And that's in my comments here is, we had, the board voted to have PCE do a analysis of that Point Drive line, and that, I added it up just before I came in here. It's $201,000 they're asked to fix that line up to where it should be. But they don't even have the whole line, because we're only down to about Walnut. We haven't cambered and cleaned the rest of it to the lift station. So there's more to come on that, so how do we replace the 200,000?
What are you recommending, Larry?
I'd just like to say, should we start looking into it and come up with some numbers? We still have to do the asset management in the sewer plant, and we have to do the asset management in the water plant itself.
Right.
So there's actually 4 assets that have to be accumulated. And I can call Scott too, if he can help us with a number. I mean, I think we gotta move forward on something, even if it's a little bit. 'Cause we're
Is
just,
there a way to find out how much money that would generate if we raised it a quarter, if we raised it 50 cents?
well, that's
raised
what I
it a
would like to
dollar?
know, yeah,
I mean, what would that generate?
right. We can do that.
I mean, we have to do something. I mean, there's no doubt we have to do something.
Well, that's why I just want to, we had tabled that back in January, and we
Right.
said we were going to talk about it in June or after the audit. Well, we've had the audit last month, or last meeting. So, all right, I'll start looking into a little bit more on that and those questions, see if I can get answers for them, how much, 20 cents makes, or how much does a quarter generate.
Right. Where are we at right now with our water rates? What, is it 580?
What's the water rates?
Water rate, 5?
I think 515 and 519 for sewer maybe?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're pretty
okay.
close.
Okay, I thought it was higher.
And I think,
Doesn't it seem like us, the amateurs have been involved in this, always raising rates?
what's that?
Doesn't it seem like since the amateurs have gotten involved in this a little more, that it seems like all we're doing is raising rates?
We haven't raised them in 3 years.
I think it's been shorter than that.
It's been a while, but
We were
again,
doing good until the state stepped in.
Well,
Yeah.
the issue is we've got an infrastructure we ignored.
Right, that's what we're
We have to
doing.
start putting money away to replace it. It's
Just like the bike trail with that ditch, we haven't done that, and like Ken said there, our infrastructure is, when you look at the line asset management they did and how old some of these lines are,
Right.
I mean, it's, now we
Teetering.
have the new Edison plant coming in, I think they're coming in, they wanna do some kind of study to see what availability of water that we can supply them up there, so.
I think it's a good thing to look into. I think our board has been very proactive all along, so I think
Right.
we should look into it, see where it's at, and again, we have to put money aside for that. I mean, we're gonna have problems, so we have to have the money for that.
The sewer lines are teetering.
Yeah. Well, we know our oldest section, I think, is down here on Point Drive, and the water's been in there a long time too, hasn't it? Don? I mean, the water lines are really ancient down there.
Yeah, they were the first water line in here, I think.
Right.
Was Point Drive.
We've got all the dates and all down on those water lines, and when you look at it, it's like scary that they've been there that long, and we haven't done a lot of work to them. So, all right, I'll look into that. We don't need no motion on that. All right, moving on to unfinished business was our cleaning contract. I had some lengthy discussion with Stuart Bovee and Whipple, with our attorney. Herb is correct, you cannot be an employee and a contractor. You gotta be one or the other. Well, you're already an employee, so Stuart Bovee and Whipple is suggesting we leave you as an employee. Our legal counsel said she agrees with Stuart Bovee and Whipple, we should leave you at that.
Okay.
So, Now, that doesn't answer the contract that we have. I mean, it's not a signed contract, no, but it was in the minutes that we approved
Right.
you to do that and with the supplies. What are you looking for? If you're looking for a raise, I'd say then we're gonna have to bid it out.
I'm looking for the township to pay for cleaning supplies. That would be fair.
And I don't have a problem with that, and that was the suggestion of our legal counsel, that would be something we could do, would be buy, and you said it's like $200?
It just depends. Some years I spend more, some years I spend less. If we try to be efficient and get things at the dollar store, or if we order them at Staples, because Staples will bring them, and that's quicker.
Well, I mean, maybe we could buy them in larger quantity.
Why don't we
Yeah.
just put it up for bids again? We usually done that every year.
Well, she's been doing it for 6 years.
The last few years, we haven't.
And the person that did it before did it for 9 years.
Put it out for bids again.
Well, I mean, I think, I'm pretty satisfied with what Kathy's doing. I mean, I don't, and if she's not raising the rates on it, I would think we're gonna get higher rates if we put it out for bid, but I don't know. But whatever the board wants to do. If they wanna go out for bid, we'll go out for bid.
What's your recommendation?
I just said it.
Make it more clear, please.
Well, I said, I think Kathy's doing a good job for the amount of money that she hasn't had an increase in 6 years. So, if we paid the cleaning supplies, I think life would go on great.
Did we make a motion last meeting to pay for the supplies? thought
I don't
made
think
a
we did.
motion
We
to pay
tabled
for the
it then.
supplies. Did we table everything?
What's your opinion, Andrew?
I mentioned it last time, I don't have an issue with the cleaning supplies. I think if you go to a Costco or Sam's Club and buy the big gallons of Windex and the bleach and everything like that, I don't even think it'll come out to $200, but
Don, what do you think?
I agree with Angela on that.
What about you, Don? You say you wanna bid it out.
I'd just soon put it out for bids again.
No, I just hate to go through all that rigmarole. I think we got a good thing, but what about you, Mr. Town?
Last, 2 weeks ago, we tabled it
Right.
on the cleaning, the whole cleaning thing. We didn't have a motion to buy supplies. And $200 a year,
Plus or minus.
plus or minus? Can't beat that, I don't think.
Herb?
I'll make a motion, we leave it status quo, we just purchase the cleaning supplies for the township.
Do we need a motion?
Not to exceed a 250 or?
Yeah, that sounds good. For me.
It's fine, $250.
now, would Kathy give would she give you guys a list of what she needs and we'll go get it, or does she go get it and turn in a bill, or?
Either way, I guess we can order it, or if it's easier for you to know what you want, I mean, turn the bill in.
I can do that. That would be
I
fine.
just wonder why we don't,
Some things you could order with the park supplies.
so I mean, we've got parks, we've got DPW who's gotta order cleaning supplies, right?
Right.
Who orders the cleaning supplies of the water plant and sewer plant?
Right.
If they're all ordering individually, why are we not ordering? them
Yeah,
all
just
together?
give us the list, and then we'll see if we can do it that way. and
Great,
if-
thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Did we get a second?
Oh, the motion was, who?
Me, just leave it
I'll
status
second
quo,
that.
township will pay for the cleaning supplies.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we continue having Kathy do the cleaning for, what was it, $370, I think it is? And then we'll pay for the cleaning supplies up to $250, is that what you wrote down?
Yes.
Does everybody understand the motion? Roll call, please.
Pat Salas,
Yes.
Oda,
Yes,
Cowan, yes. Blair,
I have to
Oh, she can't
abstain.
vote, she abstains.
Yeah,
from
I
voting.
abstain.
abstain.
you think you have a conflict? Warren,
No,
Blackstock,
Yes.
Simon, yes. Motion carries. All right, next we have the resolution 3-2018, establish a bed and breakfast annual license fee. A little explanation on that. We've had it on our ordinances for quite a while for this bed and breakfast, but no fees were ever established. So we sat down, Sandy Doctor and I sat down and we came up with these fees. I don't think they're way out of line, but if you want to make them something else, that's up to you guys.
I think so.
Look all right? Can't even find it.
Anybody interested in,
We had a party that was interested in doing a bed and breakfast. That's why we had to move with this, because it was requested, and we didn't have no numbers. In the meantime, that person is withdrawn from
as if I
wanting to.
remember, Larry, years ago, someone wanted to open one up and they were denied.
Somebody what?
John Kralik,
Oh,
when he was the supervisor. They were denied. And you'd have to look back into the minutes, probably 20 years ago.
but we have an ordinance that says we can have that.
You can have them per the ordinance, unless he didn't meet
I
some
was on the
item in the
board then.
ordinance.
We must have been on the board when we passed the ordinance, so we can have them then.
Hmm.
I don't know what the date of it is, but
This is, this was
That ordinance
adopted,
was in, that was,
it says
that
92.
ordinance was in there before I was on the board.
to have a bed and breakfast or not have one?
Hmm?
To have one or not have one?
Well, that was back when the world was flat, right?
Well, I think it'd be competition for the
I
legal
remember
ones
several
down here,
years
the
ago, there was
motels.
discussion on bed and breakfast. And at that time, I don't think we had an ordinance at all.
Yeah, here's the ordinance, what, chapter 139, isn't it?
Yeah, it says 1992.
1992 it was approved. I'll read the ordinance. Resolution 03-218, establish bed and breakfast annual license fees, East China Charter Township, County of St. Clair, Michigan. Minutes of the regular meeting of the Township Board of East China Charter Township, County of St. Clair County, held at the Township Hall on the second day of July 2018 at 7:30 PM. The resolution was offered by myself. All resolutions and part of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution be, and the same hereby are rescinded. Be it resolved that East China Township Board does hereby recommend adoption of the following fees scheduled for bed and breakfast annual licensing effective July 3, 2018. License fee, $25. License inspection fee, $50. Additional fees, license late fee of $25, a license inspection late fee of $50, a re-inspection of $75. So in other words, if you come in and get it done in your timely manner, then you don't have any of those late fees. Does somebody want to second that resolution?
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we adopt resolution 03-218. Is there any further discussion?
The fee, did we compare that to something that we came up with that, or did we just feel like that was?
Yeah, we just kind of looked at what it would cost to have the inspector go out. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I think
It's
Green City had an
reasonable.
inspection fee on the apartments, and I believe that was $75 is what the
Well,
Marine
the health
City's.
department inspects them, don't they?
Their business fees down there are $50, but again, I think it's reasonable. It's something that we're just starting out with, so.
I mean, we can change it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's good.
I don't think we're gonna have a big rush on this, but right now, we don't have anybody, but at least this way we have the fees in place.
Right.
No further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Now I gotta get back to my agenda. What'd I do with it?
Throw it away.
I did
You have
something.
announcements.
Oh, here we are. Okay, announcements. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about a few things. I think the board, we should be looking at this full-time person sooner than later. I know we've got all the apps here. We got 19 for the township manager. I think the sooner we can speed this up, the faster we're gonna get some stuff done. I've contracted with a person to do the water billing. We got the taxes out this week. It was a big deal. So, I mean, I don't know what the board's feelings are here, but I think we should start looking for this full-time person because it's just, we're falling behind every day.
For a full-time person, you're talking for an
Yeah, I
office
mean, 'cause
person, you're
I don't
not.
know how soon we're gonna get this.
You're talking in township managers, we're talking,
No, I'm talking about another person in the
Right.
office
another
too.
person in the office.
I don't
There's-
think we should hire a full-time person until the office, the township manager is in place, because he should have most of the input.
I think we should hire someone as soon as possible so they can learn all Sandy Doctor's information. She is a wealth of information.
Well, we are training somebody with that right now, and she's, as Corinne said, she's really doing a
Larry,
good
is
job.
Teresa still off?
Teresa's still off, yes, and that's where a big void is,
I know.
is we have a lot of people come in here that have water billing problems, and the girls have to pick that up. We got people come in, they got problems, we got to write a work order. And right now, we're behind with China's stuff. I got a call today from China, they don't like how their water bill was presented to them. Well, part of it was missed. I don't know what they call it. It's the old Magna factory. They didn't get their copy of their water bill. They didn't get the readings, so they couldn't bill them. But I think we've addressed that now. I mean, we're just going along, trying to, what comes up, we're answering those questions. I think that's how we're acting. We're trying to resolve. I mean, but things are going by the wayside.
You
You
can't
got
do any more than that.
Sandy Doctor's gonna retire in another month, so,
A month from tomorrow.
Yeah.
you know. The one other thing I wanted to talk about is, before we talked about getting paychecks in here, we brought paychecks in, Corinne and I sat down with the paycheck person, showed her all our system. She was a little hesitant about doing the sewer and water authority part of the billing. It didn't fit her template for the computer or whatever, but we would still have to do all the work. And she even said that our BS&A, once we get it to that point, but the good thing about them, they would be responsible for any fines, and paying the taxes and all that. But Corinne did them today. I talked to her about it. She thought it went all right, but there's other things we don't know, you know. I mean, we had a lot of new employees in the park. We've had pay raises. We had July 1 is another contractual raise, so that had to be adjusted, but she got it done. Moving on to MERS, I gave you a little bit of that. I gave you just something to look over on this MERS. This has to do with the two contracts that we have and when they were implemented, and how that, to be taking the money out from the 2.5 to the 2.25. So there was a few months that it was taken out at 2.5 instead of 2.25. Now, to go back and make those adjustments, they want $550 for us to go back and do that. It's gonna take 35 days. I haven't found out if that 550 would be a make or break to the difference in the
I still
MERS.
think MERS is a Ponzi scheme.
So Social Security.
What's the other alternative to this?
Just do nothing and leave it like it is. You know what I mean? It would have been, the dates would not be back to the contractual date for when we did the clerical. I should have gave you the other copy from our attorney on the dates that he suggested it was supposed to be implemented.
What was the loss from March 1st to June, from February 1st to June 1st? I mean, the 2.25 to 2.5, so we're talking the 0.25%, correct?
0.25%.
0.25%.
Which could be a very, very small number when you spread it out over that.
Well, if it's a very small number, let's leave it alone rather than paying $550.
Well, that's what I I just wanted to let you know that I'm looking into that, trying
Okay.
to see
Oh,
what
okay, I
kind of
see.
numbers.
I see.
I'm gonna have somebody figure that. I didn't ask that question, and this is what I got back
Okay,
from this Matt Taylor.
gotcha.
Another thing that we're working on is our new assessors started. They were in here for just a couple hours. They're gonna be in here on July the 9th. But we still got a little bit of problem with their contract. I signed the contract, now I got a call today that we may have to do something else as far as how we pay them. It's not, our attorney ended up calling the MTA, and they're working it out, and they're gonna talk to one another. Our attorney's gonna talk to our assessors and see what we have to do to modify that contract. The other thing, we got slow computers in here. We called our IT people out here on Palms Road, and they came in, they're gonna give us a written quote. They seem to think that we've gotta update our stations, our server, and they said we have no firewall. To do those three things, if we did them all, it'd be about $8,700. Our computer works fine right now, it's just slow. BSNA recommends a certain amount of gigabytes or something for BSNA program to run at its maximum. It's running now, the way, it's just a little bit slow. It might be something we can look at in the future. Of course, they're selling computers, but they said after 3-4 years that your computer is pretty much obsolete, you should be getting a new one. I'm looking into that, they're gonna send me a quote. The other thing is, I talked to you earlier about the sewer inspection of Point Drive. They brought it in Friday. Blaine hasn't had a chance to look at it. It goes through all the data that we had, all the cammering, all the stuff that we did in February and March, went down there on the sewers, and pictures of all the risers and all that, and they went through and did an analysis. And like I said, it's around $201,000. And that would be doing it all internally, there'd be no digging, which is a little more money. We haven't made any, Blaine hasn't made a recommendation or what he wants to do with that. The other thing I wanted to report on is the Council on Aging sent us a nice letter thanking us for our donation of $1,000 to the Council on Aging. And with that, we'll move on to members' comments. Mr. Horn,
I have nothing.
Mr. Patalas?
Are we setting the DPW now? Did you hire the other? did
Yes,
get
we
the other?
did, and I haven't got all the information. We're still got a background check to do on him.
Okay.
He has started to work. His name is Kenny Schindler? Kenny Schindler Jr. He's a township resident, lives in the township. I'll get more on that, because we gotta get an official.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mr. Boda?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
And that DPW, Blaine's on vacation this week, so
Oh, okay.
we're still down to 2.
You allow him on vacation?
Huh?
You allow him on vacation?
Yeah, we shouldn't, but, Mr. Town,
No comment.
Blackstock, Ms. Blair?
Larry, did we set up a day that the assessor will be in the office at East China every week?
We have.
What day is that?
Well, it's either gonna be Tuesday or Thursday there, when they come back. Right now, it's Thursday,
Okay,
and they will be here for the 8 hours.
okay.
But I told her that it could change. We're having her name is Roxanne, is that what it was? And she works for that Griffin company.
Mark is totally done now, right?
Mark is totally done, and thank you for all the work that Mark did.
Yes, definitely. Mark did very well for us.
Oh,
He
Mark
worked
did
hard.
outstanding.
He knew this whole township in and out, He really
He's
did.
gonna be greatly missed, so we should get Mark a letter too. Is that it, Kathy?
No, Larry, you started talking about the need for a full-time person. Did you want to talk about that more?
Well, I mean, or does the committee want to wait and see what they're doing? Mr. Town expressed that we shouldn't, nobody else said we should, so.
I said we should.
You said we should.
Yes, I definitely think we should.
I said we should hire a full-time person, but temporary.
Feedback.
That way,
He's got 'em right there.
that person knows that when a
Yeah, all those right there.
township manager comes in, he or she may not have a job.
Tap application. Looks real good.
Did you guys hear that?
Pardon me? No, I
Hear
didn't.
what Mr. Town said? That we should hire a part-time, a temporary, full-time person right now. And then when the township manager comes in, he or she would have to prove her job or his job? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That, the
Temporary,
township,
full-time person?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be hard to find.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna do that.
well, I don't know either.
That's,
I
it's a
just-
double-edged sword. I don't know how you're gonna do that.
I don't know either, but I think the person ought to be temporary.
You have-
Temporary
If
and
you want it
part-time
temporary,
are
it's gonna
two
have to be
different,
part-time.
part-time and temporary are two different things, in my mind.
They are. But,
And I think that the township manager should have most say.
If you hire a full-time temporary person in and the manager comes in, doesn't like it, we fire him?
Yeah,
This person's gonna quit their job and
yes.
that's what I'm saying. You're
I don't
gonna
wanna
get
do
a
that
person
to
that's
somebody.
qualified to quit their
I don't
job.
want somebody to lose his livelihood because at that point, you know, a township manager.
Well, he
comes
would
in.
hire in with knowing that in the first place. That he'd be subject to the township manager's approval.
I feel if they want to carry discussion on about this, we can make it as an agenda item and we can come back. I don't think a board member comment, we should handle doing anything at this point. If you want to make it an agenda item next meeting, I'm more than willing to sit down and talk about it, but at this point, I mean, this is member comments. It's,
Okay. What else do you have? Kathy?
Yes, for the historical committee,
Can't see
you're not going to
that.
conduct business.
we meet
with
the,
no
the
comments.
second Saturday of every month for our open
Should have
house.
full-time,
Last
nothing.
month's open house was wonderful. We hit record highs. We had some new displays and everything was great. So we'll look forward to seeing everyone for our second Saturday from 11 to 3 at the Red Brick on Meisner. Thank you.
Did you get your book thing, shelves done or whatever you were gonna do?
No, we're still working on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
The displays at the Red Brick School right now are beautiful. I went and locked the door after there was a group there a couple weeks ago on a Saturday. And when they left, I went and locked up, and it really is pretty. It really, you guys did a really nice job.
Oh, good. Thank you.
It's very nice looking.
Good.
Well, we're seeing.
All right, any other discussions? If not, I guess a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn at, 8:37.
I'll support.
Then moved and supported that we adjourn at 8:37. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you.